And welcome to another show. Don't get this twisted. I am Rob, along with my co-host as always, Tina. How you doing?
I'm hanging in there, Rob. How you doing?
Oh, not too shabby.
How you doing?
You know. And for the people who are listening to this the day after, sorry we're a day late, but we also had the holiday, so we kind of
we took a day. We
enjoyed the 3-day weekend for Memorial Day and all that fun stuff because
it was 4-day weekend. It was fantastic.
4-day. That's even better.
I know.
4-day. I would have, but someone already took the day off at my work, so I couldn't.
Bastards.
Yeah, bastards. It's okay. You know, and I already missed out on the 4th of July because someone already took that one too. So, yeah, it's okay. It's all right. It's a 3-day weekend. We get that Friday off.
Nice.
So yeah,
you got to come out here for the barbecue.
You know, I haven't seen fireworks in like person in so long.
Yeah, you should come over.
Yeah,
the whole valley lights up.
Yeah, I know the valley over there is. I mean, to tell you the truth, where I live, if you drive up the hill by me,
yeah,
you can see the whole valley here.
Nice.
And they're everywhere. Yeah. And they're super illegal where I'm at. Like,
oh, totally. They're super illegal everywhere.
No, but there's signs here that tell you how much they're going to fine you.
Oh, shit.
Yeah. There's like on the street, it says fireworks here are illegal. You will be fined this amount of money. I was like, oh, wow.
Crazy.
Yeah. But I live in an apartment, so it's great. Like where I'm at, if you just kind of walk down the street, you can see them all over here. Pretty cool.
Nice.
So, since we took a day off, we were scathing through our crazy nonsense of what we were going to talk about today. And I thought that you had some pretty good ideas, but we're going to talk about this on another day. See, we got to leave people hanging either. They're like, what were they going to talk about? But we have one from, I'm assuming a long time ago. I write these things down and I don't know when, and I'm going to start dating them because I think it's kind of interesting because I don't know what was going through my head or what I heard. But this one is the one that got away, or did they? Because I think a lot of us, we think that we missed out on a human being because we either didn't have a relationship with them or we did and they ended up going somewhere else. And we always think that, man, they were the one that got away. And then we find out something about them later and you realize, you probably won. Or, man, I am glad I didn't go down that road.
Dodged a bullet.
I dodged a bullet. Yes.
Yeah.
Because for me, I will tell you that I have done that many times in my life where I was like, man, like this is the one that got away and like it sucks. And then you realize or you hear something about them and you're like, holy shit, I am really glad I didn't go down that road because they're crazy or they did this or they did that. And it's a wild thing when you think about, mostly if it's years that go by or maybe you have been in contact with them and for whatever reason it didn't work out. And then you hear that they did something and you're like, what in the blue hell were they thinking? You know what? I'm going to leave that very wide open because we both have people that I know for a fact we can put that little pin in, right? Because you think you know somebody.
Well, you do at the time you're with them, but you hear later on down the line, they're a different person. Yeah. But
like, let's say that they're still in your life-ish, right? Like in and out of your life. Like, oh, you talked to them for a little while and they kind of disappeared.
Dumb?
Yes. But you thought, right? But you thought like, God, this would have been the perfect person to be with. And then they're still in your life, whether they're friends or they're part-time lovers or they're whatever. We can kind of throw that around because I don't know other people's lives, right? Because I think some people keep people in their lives as fuck buddies or whatever you want to call them. Because feelings are weird. So, you might have feelings for somebody, but you can't end up closing a deal for whatever reason, or you realize that you've tried and it didn't work or whatever, but you can't get off that horse. And then they do something and you go, holy shit, you're not the person I thought you were.
Mm-hmm.
And that's kind of what I mean by, are they the one that got away or are they? Because maybe they're not. And you realize when you can sit back for a second and look without the rose-colored glasses on.
Mm-hmm.
Because we all wear those, right? At some point.
Absolutely.
And don't get me wrong, I think rose-colored glasses are fucking amazing. Because when they're on and everything is so hunky-dory, it's the greatest thing in the world.
I've seen you like that. It cracks me up.
Right. Totally.
Yes.
You're just like, blah, 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 blah. And like everything is cloud nine. And look, I think human beings, we love to believe that cloud nine is going to be around forever. Because deep down inside, we want it to be around forever.
Right.
And then some kind of reality hits, whether it's the lack of being able to have the time to be with them now for whatever reason, right? The reality hits of life. Because sometimes you have all the time in the world and you're building this cool relationship and then that dissipates for, whatever it is. And then it becomes harder to see them. And I think that's when these things start happening of you see people for what they really are.
Mm-hmm.
And don't get me wrong, I'm probably that part of it as well for somebody. You know what I mean? Like,
I was thinking, I wonder how many people I am for that.
I'm sure I'm that for a few people. And I mean that with the utmost respect for me. Like, because I can be a little loony or what was the word that they used? Now I can't remember. And I should, because they said it to me a lot. She was like, you're like this a lot. And I was like, oh, I don't think I am. I guess I'm a little much, I guess is the best way of putting it. And and now looking back on said friendship thing, I can be a tad much. And I think that that's just because I had all the time in the world and they didn't, which is a recipe for disaster. I think, you both have to have a life.
Yes.
And when one doesn't, it becomes
codependent.
It just becomes a lot because you feel like, why don't you want to spend time with me? And it's not that they don't, they just can't.
Right.
It's not, I don't think that it's like this like they're thinking about it. They're not like, you're You know, that's not the reality of the situation. I don't think in most cases. I just think that you're not seeing their life for what it really is. And it's probably a lot because life can get in the way. I'm lucky. My son is older now. So I don't, and I'm sure when he was much younger, I had no time. I couldn't just drop things and go because that's not the way the world worked for me.
Yeah, you had a kid waiting at home for you.
He was just everything. That was the, and he should have been, obviously. So for me, I think as I got older and I didn't have that responsibility, I was just like, why don't you want to do things? Like it's that. Now, looking back on a lot of these different things, I'm sure I was the one that got away until they heard about something I did. And they were like, I dodged a fucking bullet with that guy because he's a little loony. So I think a lot of people, as we get older, you step back a little bit and start realizing like it's very easy to fall for people.
I agree.
But then reality kicks in. I had told somebody many, many, many years ago now. I remember it like it was yesterday, actually, because I just remember we had a really good friendship and we were going to try to see if it was something else. And I remember looking her in the face and saying, whatever you do, don't fall in love with me.
Oh, that's the dumbest thing you could say to somebody if you mean it.
Well, and here's the funniest thing. The thing that boomeranged back at me, she said, don't fall in love with me. And I was like, okay. And, feelings arised on both sides, but definitely with them a little more. And in the end, obviously, it didn't work out because of, where we're at. But I was trying to circumvent things, not saying don't do it ever, just don't do it so quickly. Mm-hmm. Because I think it's just very easy to fall into something, right? Because we all want that, we all want something to work and want it to work quickly. And then at some point, again, we all realize that, oh shit, like maybe we're good for each other and at certain things, but not everything. Mm-hmm. And then I think there are the ones that got away, right? At least until you hear something, right? Some people you never talk to again. And I think that's, to me, it's healthy. It's healthy. It is. For some people, it has to be healthy. You can't be friends with everyone.
No, and you shouldn't.
Yeah. So I was sitting down eating the other day with my son, and he said something to me that I thought was pretty grown up, but also you could tell that he just hasn't lived yet. Because he told me, he goes, oh, yeah, when I break up with girls, I never talk to them ever again.
Smart.
I mean, yeah, to a degree, I think that there is something to that. I thought it was a little harsh, but I also think that I have a lot of friends that were exes. And I don't mean friends like I talk to them every day, but like people that I would still communicate with and have no problem with it. Like, oh yeah, we dated 5 years ago. Yeah. She still cuts my hair to this day, and she's about to get married. And I just think that and maybe I just feel that I'm grown up now. Like, just because I know that then she wasn't for me, like after everything was said and done. So I think that I don't feel like there's anything there. And maybe that's why I can talk to him. But he was like very, very brutal. He was like, oh yeah, once she says that she's not interested in me, I just won't talk to her ever again. I was like, wow. Oh, okay. And I kind of was like, okay, like that's what you got to do. You got to do. But I was a little shocked.
I don't know. I think that's kind of a good way to be. You know, we're like, how many times have you gone back and made the same mistake twice?
Yeah.
A lot.
A lot. Yeah. Yeah.
You know, he's kind of smart in that respect that he could cut that off.
I kind of agree. Yeah. And look, I don't know if he's been able to actually do that yet. You know what I mean? Like, I know he has with like younger things. He's young. Like he's only 23. So I don't think he's had any like super duper duper serious relationships. He's had ones at like high school and they went for months and then they broke up and he never talked to him again. Like, and he's okay with that. I know some of them have came back into his life, but he's very like, he's very much we don't need to talk or
cut and dry, huh?
And he's very like, if he's dating somebody, that's like the first shit he tells people. He's like, yeah, I'm seeing somebody. Like, we don't, just so you know, like, don't step to this, like thinking that there's going to be anything. And I was like, okay. And I think that that's a great idea. Like, that's perfect. Because then you don't end up with kind of what we're talking about. You never end up with anyone that got away because you cut that shit off and it's, you know, pretty quick. Right. So I think I get it. I think he's smarter than me for sure. Cause I hold on to shit and then I ruminate and then I wonder why. And then I think it's me. And there's a lot of things that go through my noggin that are probably not very healthy.
Yeah.
But in the end, I think there's something to this one that got away. I think that there's definitely people that years and years later you go, man, I wish I would have done something differently. Right. And look, ones that got away are people that you probably never talk to again. So you don't know. And you might not hear what happened. You know? So there's a lot to be said to that. I definitely try to now live with I don't want to wonder, you know, jump in full force and full feet first. And if it doesn't work, then boogie. Then you don't have to worry about if they're the one that got away, you know.
Don't you know anyway, though? Like, you know, from the get, if there's someone you just acted like an ass with and you blew it, or if it, you know, the missed opportunity, or if you went through it and you had a whole relationship with them, you know, if they're the one that got away or not, you know.
Yeah. I mean, I think if you had a long relationship with somebody and it ends, you know, right away. I think the ones that got away, at least for me, are something that you felt that either you never gave a try to because of whatever reason, or you self-sabotage the thing yourself anyway. And here's the thing. I think that if you self-sabotage it, you probably deep down inside kind of know it. Like, you know that it probably wasn't for you anyway.
Mm-hmm.
But, you know, our brains work so fucked up wise, right? Because you start thinking, at least from other things or other people that I've heard from, you know, it's very easy to start questioning things, right? When things get too good, people start going, man, this is really good. Like,
I don't understand that. I just like to ride the wave.
That you, Tina, you're perfect. That's actually perfect. You're doing it the right way.
Yeah.
Because I think a lot of people start questioning things like, man, this sure is going well. Mm-hmm. You know, it's going good. You know, maybe I should slow this shit down because it's going too good. And it's quite common that, you know, I've watched a lot of these videos on YouTube, and they talk about like self-sabotaging is such a big thing with people because of past relationships.
Yeah.
And look, we're not spring chickens. So I think it's much easier to self-sabotage shit. You're like, man, this is going good. I wonder why.
I learned a long time ago that if you don't take the opportunity when it's there, you'll lose it. And then you'll be like, oh, I missed it. Like I didn't see that. And so I tend to be one that will just ride the wave and go with it and try to make whatever it is work that I need to make work. Mm-hmm. I probably try to overachieve on that.
I think you got it going good though. What you're doing is probably the smartest thing.
What's that?
Just ride the wave. And if it works, cool. And if it doesn't, because then the way you're doing it, there's no questioning things ever.
Mm-mm. No, I really do have, I have a lot of faith that things are going to be a certain way. And I really don't question it, because I find that we were talking about this earlier about just, you have, I don't want to even get into that. If you have faith and you just live in the moment and you just go through the motions, whatever they are, then you had that moment, whether it's gone or, you know, it's fleeting or it's sticking, you know, you had the moment. So there's a lot less to regret when you just go with it. Now, I'm not saying that that's the right thing to do, because Lord knows I have done some stupid shit in my day and continue to. I think that's just fun, and that's where I want to be, and oh well. So I like to say, well, this is how I'm doing it. I'm throwing my hands up in a roller coaster and we are taking a spin. Like I do that. I did that when I bought the bike. You buy the bike and you don't even know how to turn the damn bike on. How dumb is that? Why would you do something like that? Well, if you were me, you would completely understand it. But it is 2 hands up in a roller coaster every time. You know what I mean? It's you know me, Rob. You know how I work. It's to me, it's just like, well, let's see what happens next. And I say that all the time too. And sometimes you crash and burn, and sometimes things are great, and other times you're like, did you see what the fuck I just did? Like, that was amazing. And that with that reckless abandon, you have opportunity, you have growth, you have burnouts, you have all of it. And the trick is to not, judge yourself and say, okay, I gave it everything I had. Yeah, I fucked it up, but that's, but did you see that? Like right. I did that. I won't be having that regret on my deathbed, because I could say, wow, that was really stupid and I really messed things up. Or I could say, did you see how that turned out? It was amazing.
Right.
And especially with love, like I married my ex, and I remember my best friend was so pissed at me at the time because she was like, he's not your type. It's not right. I don't think you should be with him. What are you thinking? She was like really aggravated with me to the point where she didn't even talk to me for a long time after that. And I'm like, why? You didn't marry somebody that I think was good for you. And instead of putting her feet up and grabbing the popcorn and watching what I did with it, she chose to miss out. And I think to myself, come on, you more than anybody knew me the best. You ever see me like skip on a challenge? Like, come on, if there's a crazy way to do something, I'm in. I'm doing it. I'll prove you that I could do this. Watch. And why would you get frustrated with that? That's just who I am.
Right. And look, I think it's easy. There's a quote I'm trying to look up, but I'm going to paraphrase it, but I'm pretty sure this is what it was. You can overthink yourself out of a good thing.
Totally.
And, the more that you overthink, the more you'll find chips in the armor, right? And you're going to go, oh, well, if I do this is going to happen and this is going to happen. Or, if I date this person, they're not going to, these other people aren't going to like them. And it's like, okay, but you won't know until you get there. I'm kind of like you now, where I'm starting to think, the bigger reality is if you don't try something, then don't bitch later on.
Right.
Because let me tell you, it's very easy to look at somebody and then go, oh, well, it's like dating me. Like, let's say someone wanted to date me. The whole thing is that someone might go, oh, your kid's not going to like me. How do you know? You don't know until you get there. Or I've had somebody actually say that to me. Someone was like, oh, your son doesn't like me. It's like, no, you think they don't like you because of inside your own brain, you're thinking that. Instead of really just kind of going, I guess we'll find out. Yeah. Because you have to find out. Yeah. It's very, very easy to armchair quarterback your life.
Yep.
You can always go like, oh, this is going to go bad. And this is going to go bad. And if I do this is going to go bad. Instead of going, I'm just going to throw that shit against the wall and see what happens.
Well, and it can go bad. I mean, you really need to assess like what are the consequences? What are you going to have to deal with? That's how I do things. I'm like, is anybody going to die? Am I going to end up in jail? Those are my two rules. Like, right. Nobody gets to die, not on my watch, and nobody gets arrested. So after that just leaves you room to have a good time and to just go with it. I've been in some really fun situations because I just said, well, let's just do this, and you should, again, with love, without love, whether it's a bike, whether it's a person, whether it's a this, it's that. Like, if you want to do it, you should really give it a shot. You shouldn't wait. You shouldn't stop to make somebody else happy. I think I wanted a motorcycle in my 20s and my mom stood over my dead body. Now I may be dead today if I had gotten one, but damn, what did I miss because she stopped me from doing it? I think about that. Like, you stopped me from doing something I really, really wanted. Right. And I won't get that back, but I'm sure as hell making up for it now. I almost drove to San Francisco on a whim on the bike with a friend. That's just to say we did it. Right. But we got too cold. We were going for it though. We just didn't have enough clothes. So we came back. Right. But just the thought, like, yeah, I am that person that'll get on the bike and do that. Like, I can, I I have the money to do it. I have the capability of doing it. I have the time to do it. So why not? And I think that's how it should be with dating. You don't know until you try, you know, and you have boundaries, set them, and then, you know, whatever happens after that, it's just what's going to be. So let it be and go do it, live. Like, I say that all the time. I tell everybody that. And I truly believe it. Like, don't wait for anything. Like I tell you, go see your dad, because who knows how long it'll be, you know, till the next time, if ever.
Right.
Like, if you're not doing what it is that's in your heart to do, then you're failing yourself.
Yeah. And at the end of the day, for all of us, you know, you only get one shot here.
Yeah.
I would rather try something and fail going forward than not try it at all.
Try it and get it right, though.
No, I mean, obviously, I think we all want to get it right. I mean, nobody wants to fail. I mean, let's be honest. You don't get up in the morning and going, hey, I'm going to go do this. I hope it doesn't work. I mean, nobody in their right mind would generally do that. It just, it doesn't work well. Right. Mm-mm. But most of us want to get up in the morning and go, man, this, you know, we're going to kill this today. And this is going to happen. And this is going to work. And it's going to be awesome, because we all want that. But I think that you have to have the mentality now of going, this can work. Like, this could actually work. And I think, again, as I get older, because I didn't, you know, my ex-wife wanted to move out of state or move to different places, and I was always too comfortable.
Yeah.
And then as soon as I got divorced, I moved to Vegas, and then I came back and I didn't go to the Valley. I moved to Camarillo, and I was there for 8 years. And then one day I woke up and was like, hey, I'm going to move out to this other new place. And I moved here. Yeah. And now I'm also thinking like, hey, I should move again. So, yeah, you know, it.
Now, see, that I've not done. I still live 2 miles from where I was born. Yeah. 2 miles from where I work.
But you did move. I mean, you got married and moved out and and had a place. You just stayed in the valley, yeah. Which is not, look, there's nothing wrong with that. I just, you know, I'm at a point now where I'm like, you know, let's try something new. And now I'm thinking, I even told my kid the other day, I was like, maybe we should just move to Texas.
Everybody's moving to Texas.
And just say, let's say, screw it. And let's just go do it. And at the end of the day, you know, we'll see what happens. And he was like, that's, you know, because he's thinking of doing it anyway. Yeah. And I'm like, well, cool. Like, I'll go there. You'll go there. We'll we'll rent a house or something. And, you know, you can pay half and I'll pay half and we'll be roommates and, you know, and go from there. And he's like, oh, we should start thinking about it. So look, you never know. I might just wake up one day and go, Texas it is, or Arizona. You know, mm-hmm. Arizona's nice. My cousin lives in Arizona. That's, you know, I want to stay in a place where it's somewhat warm, but for me, I'm also thinking, God, it would be nice to go have seasons. You know, like Tennessee has all 4 seasons. It gets chilly and it's fall and it gets orange and like all these things where like you can just kind of enjoy. Mm-hmm. So, you know, the one that got away sometimes might not even be a person.
Yeah. Any situation.
Right. A situation might be the one that got away. Mm-hmm. And fucking how many of those did we actually do? Bazillions. You know, like I think that there's a couple of people that I might put in that category, like the one that got away. Mm-hmm. But situations, tons. Yeah. Like there's so many things that I just, you know, should have done, but I was at the time probably very scared just because I liked being comfortable. Mm-hmm. And now I look back on it and kind of go, man, like I wish I would have done this.
Yeah. I think about that too with careers. Like I look back 35 years of doing hair, and this was what I started with was I'm going to go and do hair so I could, make some money, and then I'll go back to school. And I didn't go back to school. I continued to do hair, and I often wonder, like, what would I have done if I just went back to school?
Right.
And then I gave it a shot going to school, and I did really well when I was in it. And then, just life and different things happened, and I stopped again. Again, you stopped. Why are you stopping yourself? Finish it up. Do something that would kind of shock you, so I'm still mulling that around. I mean, do you really want to go back to school at 55? I mean, come on. I don't think I do.
Right.
But do I don't know. What do you do if you don't try other things or do other things? I did really well when I was in school. Why'd I stop? I don't know.
I have a friend who's the same way. She's in the medical industry and she makes a good living. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's not horrible, but she said the same thing to me. She was like, if I just go to school, I can make more money. But she's like, I'd have to front the money for school, and then am I going to pay it back? And how long is it going to take me? And even with a raise,
she talks herself out of it.
Yeah, you talk yourself out of it. And look, I get it too. Like she's 50. She's also in that same place of like, do I really want to do I want to go to school, or do I want to be like enjoying other things? And truly, I kind of agree with her. Like there is that part of it. Like, do I really want to be doing this all the time? Or do I want to enjoy my grandkids, or, whatever it is that you have? There is things like that. So I see both of them.
Well, I think that no matter what is going on in your life, you should enjoy it. And you should, whether you have grandkids, you don't have grandkids, whether you have kids, whether you don't, whether you have a significant someone or something, you have to our time to enjoy our life is right now, no matter what's going on. You may not see, you may not see your kids, your grandkids, you may not see your parents, you may not see your whatever. But no matter what you're doing, if you're not living it, it's kind of sad.
Right. I totally agree. And I think that this is the time.
Absolutely.
And this is kind of, before I would tell you, look, my son's a gamer and he loves playing video games. Yeah. And in my head, I just think that's like, it's such a waste of time. Mm-hmm. But then I started thinking about it from the standpoint of you do what makes you happy.
Yeah.
Because we're already in a place where, you might, drop dead tomorrow.
It happens.
It does happen. And I think a lot of that, you have to look at the reality of that. Mm-hmm. Not that I feel like I'm going to drop dead tomorrow, but you could. And so do whatever it is you enjoy.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, as long as it's not hurting anyone, do whatever it is. And I've kind of put myself into that position again with like, I kind of, not that I gave up photography, because I don't think I ever gave it up, but I kind of put it on the back burner. Because where I lived, I didn't know a lot of people and blah, blah, blah. And then I shot some pictures of a friend of mine. And that kind of got me like, oh, man, that was great. And it was fun. And I kind of, got the fire lit under me. And then I went and shot pictures, not too many, like maybe, I don't know, 2-3 weeks ago. And it really kind of got me grooving again. And now I'm like, cool. I'm starting to talk to people again and set things up. And now I'm thinking like, hey, I've done like high school pictures before, for friends of mine. And now I'm like, I could shoot that. That's easy stuff. Like all these things. Mm-hmm. So in my head, I'm like, maybe I should try to turn this into a business again. Like, cause I've had other people go, you should be charging money for that. And I'm like, yeah, it's a hobby. It's fun, blah, blah, blah. And now I'm like, no, I think I'm going to at least throw it against the wall.
Yeah. Hobbies can make money. I mean,
look at yours.
I did that with the baskets. Who knew that was going to make me money? It was a hobby. All the things that I've made over the years, I give away. And I'm like, this one just went a different route. It did. Yeah. You have to give it a shot.
And many, many moons from now, you'll be able to say that business wasn't one thing that got away.
No.
Like you actually decided to do it. And that's kind of where I'm at. And I was talking to a photographer friend of mine, and we hang out a lot with each other, and we like rent studios together and all these things. I was kind of telling him the same thing. I go, we do this because we like it. And I love taking pictures of people. There's nothing better than watching their eyes light up when they see pretty pictures of them, or families when they see that, because I've done family stuff. And he's like, yeah, it's great. And I was like, yeah, but we should be at least making something from it. Like, you don't have to charge an arm and a leg. And if you feel like, whatever your time's worth, you should charge that. And he's like, oh, and I said, that's what we're going to start doing. He was like, okay. So, I want to make sure that that's not something that got away from me, because, I'm pretty good at it. And, I don't want to do that. And that's kind of like how I saw your basket thing. Cause I remember like, you were like, oh, I'm doing this basket thing. And then you sent me a picture and I was like, I want one. And you're like,
did you ever get one?
No, not yet, but we'll work on that. We'll work on that. Cause I have a big thing in my living room that has like statues and a bunch of other shit. And I told you I got a little spot that I can throw one, so I can always go, oh yeah, it's Tina's. And then I can take it with me wherever I go, and you'll always be like right there.
Yep.
So, so all in all, the way I look at, this whole pod that we're talking about is, look, some things are better that they get away.
I think so. I agree with that. Like, I look at my marriage. I was out with him. We went to lunch today because he was gone for a while, and he got back into town. So we were catching up, and I was thinking, we really kind of got stagnant in our relationship, and we stopped each other from growing more than what we should have been. And, now he's growing and he's catching me up with things. I'm catching him up with things. We're having these conversations that we never would have had we stayed together. Had we just not just threw everything to the wall, like you say, and do something different. And how sad that would be for both of us, because he's doing something that he really always talked about doing, but didn't have the time. And I'm doing all sorts of shit that I didn't even think I'd be doing, or I knew I wanted to do and didn't do it for whatever reason. But now that we're in a place where we could do it, like, life is good. And we took chances, and we blew up our marriage, and, we did and it stung. We were talking about that today. Like, like how do you, he said that we should do a podcast on how it feels to get divorced. And I'm like, well, shit, like, that's a lot, there's a lot of emotions. There's a lot of things. And I started going into, all of this, and he got a little teary eyed, and I said, I'm so sorry that let me back up. I'm sorry I'm making you bummed out. And he goes, no, it was just a twitch of something. And I said, but look at what we're doing now that we'd never be doing if we were still together. And he's like, no, you're absolutely right. So
right.
As much as sometimes it sucks to do something, the outcome outweighs what you have to do to get there. Like, you have to think of that. But it should never stop you. If you're fearing something, that's the perfect reason to do it, because you're fearing it.
Right.
And
I agree.
Whether it be with, like the one that got away. Do I think he got away? Yeah, he was a really good guy, but he needed to get away. I needed to get away. We both needed to get away. So it's sometimes it's just for the best. And sometimes it hurts like a lot. Sometimes it just plain sucks. Like it does. But when you look at life, I've made mistakes. I could have been in really worse situations than I was. I got to learn what unconditional love is and still lose it. I got to be loved in tremendous ways, and then it was over, and then I had to let go. And I think that we just, when love is around or when it could be around, just hold on to it tight and don't worry about what anybody thinks about it or feels about it, or if you should, or if it's right. Like if it's there, explore it. What do you got to lose? Time,
Right.
Time. But nothing would. It does just because you don't do it doesn't guarantee that something better will be in that place. Like you're not guaranteed anything, so just roll with it, have fun with it, enjoy your life.
Right. I agree. I think that once you have a chance to step back and look hard at certain things in your life, whatever that was, you can find flaws or good things all day long because that's what you're looking for.
Yeah.
Things happen for a reason, whatever they are. And I think that once you realize you can throw things into the wind and worry about the consequences later sometimes is the best thing possible. I watched somebody go from a shitty relationship to a shittier relationship, and out of nowhere, in less than a year, get married. And from what I understand, is very, very happy. Good for you. Because you only live once. And if that doesn't work out, at least you gave it a whirl.
Yeah.
Because
you're going to get a lesson out of it no matter what it is.
Right. You're either going to get the greatest lesson in the world that love is real and it worked and everything is awesome, or you're going to get blasted again, but at least you're going to say, okay, what did I learn from this?
You learned you don't want to do that again.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean that you won't either.
Yeah. Look, my mom was married many times.
Mm-hmm.
Many.
Your mom.
Not once, not twice, not 3 times. So look, and I think after the 4th one, she was like, okay, I'm not made for this. But look, she gave it 4 tries.
Why not?
Why not? You know what I mean? Like, so for me, I look at things like that because my mom is, crazier and shit sometimes. That you got to give things a whirl, and if they don't work, you're going to be judged whether they work or they don't.
Mm-hmm.
So,
but you know what you know about your mom is she lived.
100%.
She took chances. She loved. She had faith that things would end up all right, no matter what the all right was. That was what she had to go through to find out. But she lived.
And gave absolutely 0 fucks what people thought.
Hell yeah.
And I remember not too long before she passed away, talking about certain things. And there's a few things that she cared about that kind of at the end when she was sick, she kind of said, but there were things that I would have thought would have been a lot more weighed down on her, that she was like, nah, I don't care. I was like, oh, shit. Oh, okay. Like, so for me, it like live. Yeah, there are going to be the ones that got away, and hopefully you'll never know it because you don't know what happened in their life. And to you, they are the way they are. And then there's going to be ones that you're going to find out later on that you're just like, thank goodness I dodged that fucking bullet because I was meant to be here with this person doing this thing. And this is where I was supposed to be. Sometimes it just takes many, many, many years to realize that.
Sometimes it's just something that didn't come to fruition and you wish it had, and you're always going to wish it had. There's so many
100%
outcomes to all of it. But that's why you give life your best shot and you show up and you do whatever it is that brings you some happiness. And obviously you take care of your responsibilities, but outside of that, like, go for it.
Well, and it's so funny because look, and I'm not going to tell people to live in debt because I don't think that that's responsible to do. But that being said, with the exception of, some small things, live in debt. Who gives a fuck? They can't. What are they going to do? Take it from you when you're dead? Okay, come get it. Yeah. But live with it now. It's like I said, I don't want anyone to be responsible for that debt. So I guess if I was married, it'd be different. But like, who's going to take that debt on? My kid? He's not going to. He's going to write notes to credit people and go, he's dead. I don't live with him. I don't know what I'm not getting any money from him. I don't know what to tell you. I keep telling myself, whatever I have, my accounts, my bank accounts, I'm going to add my son's name to it. So at the end, he can just go there and take the money out. Yeah. He's not going to have to wait for anything. Mm-mm. So he'll be on the account. He'll go and he'll get money and he'll tell creditors to, eat a dick, and that'll be the end.
Yep.
I said, take care of my body, toast me, make me into something cool. Because I told him he needs to make me into some glassware and then, move on. But, I'm not going to sit there and go, man, I wish I had this. I'm just going to go get it. And I'll worry about the outcome later. Life's too short.
I mean,
yeah, I'm not going to go out and,
but then you're talking to somebody that bought a Harley she didn't need. So fuck reason if you need to.
Yeah. I wanted some new lights to take pictures with. So I went and bought them. There you
go.
Now,
that's right.
I have a way of paying things off that I can do if I really wanted to anyway, but I'm not going to be in I'm not going to say, I'm not going to do this anymore. Fuck that. Worry about that shit later.
Absolutely.
So what do you say here on the last words on this, ones that got away or maybe they didn't?
I think they all make you who you are. So just be grateful for the experience. If they stay, they stay. If they don't, they don't. And life moves on. I was going to say something, but I don't have to now. That was perfect. Yeah, that's 100% true. You got to live, and you'll live with the pain. You'll live with the best part of it. And, off we go. But when it comes to love, isn't it kind of all worth it?
Yep. 100%.
I think so too.
100%. The pain is worth it if you get some good from it.
Well, there's also so many things to love. It's not just a mate, your kids, your animals, your
everything,
everything. So just enjoy it.
I agree. I saw something. I'm on a Facebook page for dogs like mine. Mm-hmm. And someone posted yesterday that their dog passed away, and they showed a picture of them that they died. Mm-hmm. And they were like 11 or 12 years old. It was an older dog. Mm-hmm. And after that, I just looked at my dog and I was like, I only have if I'm lucky, 8 years with you. Mm-hmm. I was like, Wow. Like, so yeah, enjoy every moment with people, pets, things, whatever it is. Because we don't have a lot of years on this planet, so enjoy them.
Absolutely.
So, we put these things out on Wednesdays. Usually we're sorry that it was Thursday, but
we're not.
But yeah, we're not. Yeah, it's 100%. I agree. I totally agree. But keep coming back on Wednesdays. We appreciate you guys listening. Keep sharing, because people are sharing, because I see in some states that there's other people that I know that aren't my friends that are in these states that are listening. So that's kind of a cool thing. Lots of new countries. We appreciate it. You can listen to us on every platform. I mean, it's the people who listen to this show listen on everything. So it's pretty neat. And it's an opinion show. Don't get it twisted. Keep coming back every Wednesday. I'm Rob. That's Tina. And we will see you in a week. Later.
See ya.